Introduction: the ghost of a pandemic. It was supposed to be over. After 3 long years, the world has started to heal. Cities lit up again, borders reopened, weddings resumed, and children returned to classrooms. But what if we told you that in 2025, the nightmare returned stronger, faster, and deadlier? This is the story of COVID-19's resurgence. New variant detected in Asia, hospitals overwhelmed once again. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden vulnerabilities, the overlooked warnings, and the lessons forgotten, leading us to a new global crisis. Chapter 1: The Original Plague. The original outbreak began quietly in late 2019. A cluster of pneumonia-like cases emerged in Wuhan, China. Few could have imagined the scale of devastation that would follow. By March 2020, the virus had encircled the globe. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Doctors and nurses worked 16-hour shifts. Refrigerated trucks became makeshift morgues. PPE was in short supply. The world watched in horror as entire cities locked down. The virus did not discriminate, but its impact was unequal. Vulnerable populations, frontline workers, and low-income nations suffered most. Over 6 million deaths were recorded officially. But the true toll may be far higher. Lockdowns changed society. Work from home became the norm. Mental health issues surged. Children missed years of schooling. Domestic violence cases rose. Economies tanked. The world had not seen a health crisis of this magnitude in over a century. Yet amid the darkness, there was hope. Vaccines were developed in record time. Healthcare workers became heroes. People stood on balconies clapping. But the scars of COVID-19 were permanent. Chapter 2: The Calm After the Storm, 2023 to 2024. By 2023, the world began to breathe again. Omicron had swept the globe, but was milder. Case numbers declined. Mask mandates lifted. Travel resumed. People wanted to forget. And they did. Vaccine campaigns slowed. Pandemic preparedness budgets were slashed. Surveillance programs were shut down. Public interest waned. Scientists warned that the virus could mutate again, but their warnings fell on deaf ears. The lull created a false sense of security. Misinformation spread again, claiming COVID was now just a cold. International cooperation dwindled. Nationalistic politics took over. Pandemic fatigue set in. But the virus had not disappeared. It had merely gone silent. Chapter 3: Mutation Unleashed. The Rise of Pi Variant. In January 2025, doctors in Southeast Asia noticed something strange. Patients were deteriorating faster. Some were reinfected within weeks. Genetic sequencing revealed the truth. A new variant had emerged, XBB3, dubbed the Pi variant. The Pi variant had 16 major spike protein mutations. It was highly transmissible and capable of immune escape. The antibodies generated by earlier vaccines were no longer effective. Unlike Omicron, Pi was not mild. Hospitalization rates were high. Mortality rose sharply. Entire families were infected within days. At first, countries hesitated to act. Economic interests took priority. But by the time travel bans were announced, the variant had already spread to 5 continents. Chapter 4: Planet in Peril. COVID-25 goes global. Within weeks, major cities saw outbreaks. New York, London, Lagos, Jakarta. Hospitals were flooded. ICU beds filled. Nurses were stretched thin. Makeshift wards returned. Governments reinstated lockdowns. Public protests erupted. People were angry, afraid, and confused. The Pi variant was ruthless. Children and the elderly were especially vulnerable. Ventilator shortages reappeared. Oxygen supplies ran low. Economies reeled. Flights were cancelled. Borders closed. The world was once again under siege. Chapter 5. A broken system. Global health governance fails again. The WHO declared a public health emergency of international concern. But the world was divided. Some countries hoarded vaccines. Others downplayed the threat. International cooperation crumbled. The COVAX system collapsed. Poorer countries were left behind. Again. Outdated vaccines proved ineffective. A new formula was in development, but it would take months. Mistrust in global institutions grew. Political blame games ensued. The same mistakes of 2020 repeated. Chapter 6. Human suffering in 2025. Behind every statistic was a story. A single mother in Mexico lost both her parents. A doctor in Italy took his own life after losing 12 patients in one day. An elderly woman in Canada died alone in a nursing home. A child in Kenya lost his entire family. Mental health services were overwhelmed. Suicide hotlines saw record calls. Depression and anxiety spiked. Schools shut down again. Children returned to Zoom classes. Educational gaps widened. Domestic violence rose. Shelters were full. Fear returned to every home. Chapter 7. The misinformation war returns. Conspiracy theories flooded the internet. Some claimed the virus was a hoax. Others said it was a government plot. TikTok and Telegram were hotbeds of fake cures. Garlic bleach crystals. Anti-vaccine influencers gained followers. Protest movements grew. Trust in science collapsed. Governments struggled to counter the tide of misinformation. Fact-checking couldn't keep up. People died not because of the virus, but because they believed lies. Chapter 8. Resistance and innovation. But there was also hope. Scientists worked day and night. A new mRNA vaccine was developed within 60 days. AI tools helped predict outbreaks. Contact tracing apps were improved. Local communities rallied. Food banks returned. Mental health volunteers offered online therapy. Healthcare workers stepped up again. This time they demanded better protection and pay. Humanity showed resilience. Chapter 9. What we forgot. 2020's lessons relearned. We had vowed, never again. Yet we dismantled the systems built in 2020. Pandemic response teams disbanded. Funding was cut. Public memory faded. We ignored scientific warnings. We chose comfort over caution. The return of COVID was not inevitable. It was enabled by neglect. Chapter 10. Future Forward. Can we prevent COVID-30? COVID-19 is now endemic. It will not vanish. But we can manage it. We need real-time surveillance, equitable healthcare, international cooperation. We must invest in pandemic preparedness like we do in defense. Education is key. So is mental health. And trust. This pandemic has tested our systems, our leadership, and our humanity. But from every test comes a choice: forget or evolve. To those we lost, to those who still suffer, may we never forget again. This isn't just the story of a virus. It's the story of how we respond to adversity, of whether we learn or whether we repeat. Subscribe, share, speak up.